Most men will die broke, not because they lacked ambition, but because they believed a lie. They were told that if they worked hard, stayed honest, and played fair, riches would one day come to them. But this is a myth designed to keep you obedient, predictable, and powerless. The truth is far darker and far more liberating. The road to wealth is not paved with fairness, it's paved with ruthlessness. Every empire, every dynasty, every fortune was built not by those who followed the rules, but by those who bent them, rewrote them, or shattered them entirely. If you think the billionaires you admire got there by playing fair, you're already lost in the illusion that keeps men poor. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. He didn't write about morality, he wrote about power. And power, in every age, creates wealth. Not patience, not virtue, not labor-power. In this video, I will reveal the fastest way to get rich by thinking like a Machiavellian. You'll see the truths most men are too afraid to face, the strategies the elite have used for centuries, and the traps that keep ordinary men enslaved. And it all begins with the biggest myth of all: hard work. If hard work made you rich, every construction worker would be a millionaire. Think about that. Men break their backs under the sun, sweating 12 hours a day, yet most can't even afford a decent retirement. Meanwhile, the man who owns the construction company doesn't lift a single brick, but he takes home millions. Hard work doesn't make you rich, leverage does. From childhood, you've been conditioned to believe in the holy trinity of poverty. Work hard, play fair, and be patient. This is the script they hand to obedient men, the script that ensures you never rise above servitude. Work hard, and you'll get promoted. Play fair, and you'll never compete with the sharks. Be patient, and by the time money trickles your way, you'll be too old to enjoy it. Look around. Teachers, factory workers, clerks, nurses, some of the hardest working people alive. They grind day after day, but they remain trapped, paycheck to paycheck. Meanwhile, the elites tell them to be grateful and stay humble, while quietly exploiting their labor. Here's the brutal truth. The myth of hard work exists to keep you obedient. If you believe your sweat alone will make you wealthy, you'll never question why the rich get richer without sweating at all. The elite don't follow this myth, they created it. And they laugh at the men who die following it. Machiavelli warned us. The world rewards power, not virtue. The rulers know that if men understood this, they'd stop being workers and start becoming competitors. That's why the myth is protected, preached, and reinforced in schools, media, and even religion. But if hard work doesn't make you rich, what does? There is a darker, hidden truth about how wealth is really created, and it's the very truth the elites hope you never discover. Machiavelli was clear. Wealth does not flow to the obedient, it flows to the powerful. And power is never handed out freely. It is seized, often ruthlessly, by those who are bold enough to take it. The man who waits to be rewarded for his loyalty dies forgotten. A man who understands that influence bends the world in his favor becomes wealthy beyond measure. History offers countless examples. Princes who inherited nothing but chaos rose to power by forging brutal alliances and striking down rivals without hesitation. Merchants in Renaissance Italy, the very men Machiavelli observed, became wealthy not by selling goods fairly, but by monopolizing markets, bribing officials, and securing exclusive rights others dared not fight for. The rulers of empires taxed nations into submission, financed wars, and built fortunes on the backs of those who labored in ignorance. Contrast this with the worker. The obedient man wakes before dawn, serves a master all day, and returns home exhausted, believing his diligence will be rewarded. But the ruler? He directs armies, manipulates allies, and commands men like pawns on a chessboard. One dies with calloused hands. The other dies with dynasties. Wealth is not about sweat, it's about control. It's about shaping reality so others work for you, rather than you working for them. The rich understand this instinctively. Power creates wealth, and wealth sustains power. It's a cycle the obedient never enter, because they are too busy earning, while the rulers are busy owning. Machiavelli advised leaders to prioritize power above morality. Because morality does not build empires, strategy does. If you want to be rich, You cannot think like the worker who hopes. You must think like the ruler who takes. And here lies the uncomfortable truth. The fastest way to wealth is not a straight line of effort. It is a shortcut, carved through influence, leverage, and manipulation. This is the hidden truth the elite have always known, and the very truth most men are too afraid to accept. In the next section, I'll reveal exactly how wealth is manufactured, not earned by those who understand the game. The rich don't play the same game you do. They write the rules. And that's the hidden truth most men never realize until it's too late. You are told money is earned, the product of hard work and patience. But look closely. Money is not earned, it's engineered. It is manufactured by those who understand how to bend the system in their favor, and destroyed for those who don single quotes. Think about kings of old. They didn't work for their fortunes. They minted coins, levied taxes, and created wealth out of nothing but command. Bankers in Machiavelli's Florence weren't waiting tables to get ahead. They engineered debt, lending money they often didn't have, charging interest, and binding entire nations in chains of obligation. The merchants who ruled cities didn't compete fairly in the marketplace. They cornered trade routes, eliminated rivals, and bribed governments for exclusive rights. Wealth wasn't earned, it was manufactured. Fast forward to today, and the game hasn't changed. Tech giants don't just sell you products. They engineer monopolies, dominate platforms, and manipulate public perception until alternatives no longer exist. Central banks print currency out of thin air, then loan it to governments and citizens, trapping them in eternal repayment cycles. Corporations don't compete in a free market. They lobby politicians, rewrite regulations, and crush competition before it has the chance to breathe. Do you see the pattern? Wealth is not about time or sweat, it's about leverage. The rich multiply their influence through networks, alliances, and control of narratives. They manipulate demand, shape what people value, and control the very game everyone else thinks they're playing. When you believe money is about labor, you've already lost. When you understand it's about engineering systems of control, you begin to glimpse the truth. This is why so many men remain poor. They think they're running a marathon, while the rich are flying overhead in private jets. The elites don't play by your rules. They create structures that ensure everyone else feeds their empire. Machiavelli would tell you that morality doesn't build these systems, ruthless strategy does. Those who control information, networks, and perception manufacture wealth from thin air, while the obedient remain trapped in cycles of debt, taxes, and empty promises. Now here's the most dangerous part. This system is still alive and thriving today. In fact, it's stronger than ever. The modern world has perfected the art of keeping men blind to how wealth is really created. And in the next section, we'll uncover how this game operates in today's society and how it's rigged against you from the start. The system is not broken. It is working exactly as designed. Governments, corporations, and media have mastered the Machiavellian art of controlling wealth flow, ensuring that the masses remain obedient pawns while a select few consolidate power. This isn't conspiracy, it's strategy, refined over centuries. Look at taxes. The worker's paycheck is drained before he even touches it. He is told this is his duty, while billionaires shield fortunes behind trusts, shell companies, and legal loopholes written by the very politicians they fund. The pawn is punished for playing by the rules. The ruler designs the rules to never apply to him. Consider inflation. The money in your bank account loses value every year, quietly eroding your savings. Central banks print currency out of thin air, devaluing your labor, while those closest to the source of new money, governments, corporations, investment funds, profit before the devaluation reaches the masses. It's legalized theft, hidden behind economic jargon. Then comes consumerism. Media conditions men to spend, not invest. Every paycheck is siphoned into gadgets, subscriptions, and distractions. Bread and circuses for the modern age. As you chase dopamine through consumption, the elites consolidate real assets, land, companies, and influence that only grow in value. And what about politics? Dynasties remain in power, not because they serve the people, but because they master the art of perception. They use media to divide, distract, and control narratives. A pawn fights over ideology, while the ruler quietly builds empires behind the curtain. Tech billionaires do the same, monopolizing attention, harvesting data, and shaping how you think, buy, and live. This is not the life of a free man. This is the life of a controlled pawn in a game designed to keep you weak. And if you do not learn how to play differently, you will be drained, distracted, and discarded, just another obedient worker who dies believing he did everything right. But here's the harsh reality. The game doesn't forgive ignorance. If you don't master it, you become its victim. In the next section, we'll expose the personal trap most men fall into, the very trap that ensures they stay broke for life. The price of naivety is your entire life. And this is the trap most men never escape. They are raised to be obedient, to respect the system, to be good men. But good men die broke. Good men work themselves to the bone, hoping for a reward that never comes. Good men are pawns useful to others, but powerless themselves. Picture the 9-to-5 slave. He wakes before sunrise, commutes in traffic, sits in a cubicle, and grinds for a paycheck that barely covers his bills. Every raise is just enough to keep him working harder, but never enough to buy his freedom. He believes loyalty will pay off, yet his loyalty is rewarded with layoffs, outsourcing, or being replaced by someone cheaper. He is disposable because he never understood the game. Or think of the obedient family man who prides himself on doing everything right. He paid his taxes, he avoided risks, he stayed humble. But at 65, he stares at a meager pension, realizing he traded his best years for scraps. He spent his life serving a system that never intended to reward him. Why does this happen? Fear. Men fear risk, fear judgment, fear stepping outside the rules. Obedience feels safe, but safety is the slow death of ambition. Then comes moral conditioning. From schools, media, even religion, men are told that patience and virtue will bring blessings. But this morality was designed for the ruled, not the rulers. The elites live by a different code, Machiavelli's code: strategy, cunning, and decisive action. This is why most men remain broke. They never question the lies. They never break the cycle. They never learn to play the game on their own terms. And by the time they realize the truth, it's too late. But you are here now, listening, and that means you're different. You're ready to step out of the trap and into the path of power. In the next section, I'll reveal how Machiavelli's timeless principles can be applied to wealth. Today, the fastest way to escape slavery and seize the life you want. 99% of men will stay broke because they refuse to play this game. They cling to comfort, morality, and illusions of fairness. But you won't. You're here because you're ready to embrace the truth. Machiavelli revealed centuries ago, wealth is not earned, it's taken. And it is taken by men who understand power. So what is the fastest path to wealth? It comes down to one word: leverage. If you are working only with your two hands, you are already defeated. The rulers of the world multiply their power through money, people, and information. These three pillars of leverage are the foundation of rapid wealth. Money. Instead of saving, rulers use money to acquire assets, businesses, and influence. They don't hoard, it grows while they sleep. Every dollar becomes a soldier working on their behalf. Meanwhile, the worker clings to savings that inflation quietly robs. The Machiavellian approach is simple: deploy capital where it multiplies, not where it decays. People. No great fortune is ever built alone. The rich build alliances, recruit talent, and delegate labor. They understand that one man's 24 hours is limited, but 100 men working toward his vision makes him unstoppable. Influence over others is a weapon, whether through leadership, persuasion, or fear. Information. Knowledge is power, but timing makes it lethal. From kings who gathered intelligence on rivals to tech moguls who manipulate data, those who control information shape the battlefield. The masses consume information blindly. Rulers weaponize it strategically. Machiavelli's framework is ruthless, yet simple. Identify opportunities others fear to touch. Move fast and decisively before competitors react. Exploit weaknesses in markets, in rivals, in systems that form alliances. But never out of loyalty, only out of utility. Cut morality loose when it slows you down. Remember, fairness is a leash designed for the obedient. This doesn't mean reckless greed, it means calculated ruthlessness. The difference between failure and fortune is not luck. It's the willingness to act where others hesitate. And here's the greatest trap to avoid: thinking you need permission. The worker waits to be chosen, the ruler chooses himself. Machiavelli taught that fortune favors the bold, and in wealth, that boldness means claiming power without apology. Most men will never follow this path. They will stay slaves, praising hard work while dying with nothing. But you've now seen the truth. The fastest way to get rich is to master leverage, alliances, and strategy. Now the question is yours. Will you remain weak, or will you step into power? Most men will go to their graves chained by lies. They were told hard work leads to wealth. They were told fairness will be rewarded. They were told patience is the path to prosperity. And yet, they end up broke, bitter, and powerless, proof that the script they followed was designed to enslave them. Now you know the truth. Wealth is not earned through sweat, it is manufactured through power. The rulers of history, from kings to bankers to modern billionaires, all played the same Machiavellian game: control money, people, and information. They wrote the rules, while the masses obeyed them blindly. You stand at a crossroads. On one side lies the familiar path: obedience, comfort, and eventual poverty. On the other lies the path of power, leverage, strategy, and ruthless clarity. Most men will remain broke, but the real question is this: will you be one of them, or will you step into power? This is not a game of luck. It is a game of courage and strategy. The world is rigged, but now you know the rules. The only thing left is whether you will act, or whether you will waste the knowledge you've been given. If you're ready to break free from the lies and learn how to use Machiavellian principles to dominate money, power, and life itself, subscribe now. Because the men who master this philosophy rise, and the men who ignore it fall. The choice is yours.